if somebody has to start
Okay.
Amazon business, I had
Mm-hmm.
like on the last session I had talked about like what are the models somebody can start, right? Those
Yes.
three ways how if somebody wants to start they can start.
Right.
That's how, right? But
Right.
now like if somebody has to start, I mean, as a business, how they
Okay.
can do? They
Okay.
can sell as an individual
Mm-hmm.
and they can sell as business. There are two
Okay.
ways.
Okay.
Okay. So when selling as individual, what all things we will be requiring uh, for doing the registration,
All right.
and same applies to the business. What all things would be required from the business perspective, the documents and those things
Right.
also has to be submitted to Amazon, right?
Okay.
So in our case, like I mean, it is up to all individuals' decision. It might be individual or business. I would like when I move on, I'll tell like what are the pros and cons of individual and business, like
Sure.
how what all things should be there. That
Okay.
thing you will get get idea. But now just what all things are required, I'll just cover up.
Sure.
So from the individual perspective, Amazon would require your name. I mean, whatever your legal name,
Okay.
right, and the address and the
Okay.
bank detail. And
Mm-hmm.
the name, when I say name, it is the ID proof what you will be submitting, right? The name what you mention, you have
Okay.
to support the supporting documents for that,
I see.
which can be your Aadhaar card identification number, Aadhaar card basically,
Okay.
and or it can be passport or any kind of like our Indian government
Right.
document,
Right.
which can be submitted.
Okay.
And from the address perspective, it can be Aadhaar card itself. On that, it has the address as well,
Okay.
and the bank details.
Mm-hmm.
The bank details. When I say it is the deposit account where
Right.
your money will be deposited when
Right.
there is any money has to be paid to you, right, from Amazon side.
Got it.
So that is for the bank account and credit card detail,
Okay.
which is required for you to make any payment to Amazon.
Okay.
That's basically that is the requirement for this credit card. So
Okay.
initially, like I mean, when you register, the
Mm-hmm.
credit card is mandatory because they charge immediately as $39 for
Okay.
your registration. Like I
Okay.
mean, usually when you will create your account, it will be created as a professional account. So I'll talk about that difference, like when it is. I mean, within Amazon, there are again two types of account.
Mm-hmm.
One is individual account, other one is professional account. So
Okay.
I mean, let's focus on now on this. Like, what are the, I mean, how you can start off. You
Okay.
can start off as individual,
Okay.
or you can start as business.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
if you are starting as a business, then you need to submit the business detail with proof, like business name, business address,
Mm-hmm.
bank account of business,
Okay.
and the credit card detail, right?
Okay. Okay. So one question I have, Mrityunjay, here. So selling as individual and selling as business
Mm.
is the same as when you select selling as the type of account you want on Amazon, individual account or
No,
professional account. Is it
no,
different
it
or
is not same. No,
okay?
it is no, it is different. In fact,
Right.
it is different.
Okay.
Okay, so that basically is Amazon has a two classification of
Okay.
accounts. One is individual and professional.
Okay. Okay.
Individual is a kind of account where uh, that seller will not have lot of privileges and a lot of things will not be applicable, means not applicable, accessible to
Okay.
the seller. So which I say a lot of things means like there could be there would not be like bulk upload listing would not be available. Campaign management will not be available. Though
Okay.
though there will not be any monthly subscription,
Okay.
but there will be a charge of $1 for each sale. Every order there will be
Okay.
$1
Oh, is
charge,
it? Okay.
right? Yeah. So that's how the difference for
Okay.
individual and a business can be an individual account or it can be a professional account.
Okay. Okay.
Same applies to same applies for individual as well.
All right. Okay. Got it.
Got it right? So
Right.
that's
Right.
different. So that is, I mean, this is something from a, business perspective, like from legal perspective, that is
Right.
within Amazon. That's
Amazon.
nothing to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that is nothing to do it outside world,
All
right?
right.
Okay. So what are the business like? If I mean individual, it is something simple, so there is no complication there. So it is just the individual person.
Okay.
But business can be in multiple ways, can be formed, right?
Okay.
So there are these types of business, how a, business can be created, right? From government perspective.
All right.
Okay. So there are main, four types of business entities that can be created, in US market, like in, sorry, not in US market, in US,
Okay.
right? And same, I'll go for Indian, I mean for India, uh, from the business perspective, what all required in India also, we'll get to know that as well.
I see.
Yeah. So in US, you
Mm-hmm.
can form a company as sole proprietorship.
Okay.
When I say sole proprietorship, it is the individual.
Right.
Okay. I mean, let's just go about these names, and I have this sole proprietor everything and detail. So, sole
Okay.
proprietorship, partnership, limited liability company, and business corporation. So, which is incorp, right?
Okay.
These are the types of company which can be formed in US.
Okay.
So, when it is sole proprietorship, basically sole proprietorship are nothing but the individual again. So, who is like just registering with the government, saying
Okay.
that they want to do business, and
Right.
when they register with a trade name, they will have to give a name. With
Okay.
that name they will do the business, though there will be a one person only. I mean, for
Okay.
that company responsibility is on one person,
Okay.
and he is the sole proprietor for that entity, right?
Okay. Right.
Okay, so the feature or here, what all things will be like? Features is, it is very inexpensive to form, so there will not be that much of like, money involved there for
Okay.
registration purpose. Like it can be easily formed with, minimal, expense, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be easily dissolved, in the sense like if at any point you want the company to close, you
Right.
can close it easily. Like there not be that much of formalities which you'll have to go through.
Okay.
So, I mean, when I say formalities, that is something government legal formalities, right?
Right.
From the corporate perspective, I mean, every country has its own corporate law and all those things, right? Legal laws.
Mm.
So, from US country perspective, sole proprietor, if you have formed a company like as a sole proprietor, it is easy to dissolve.
Okay.
Okay. And generally, I mean, there will not be that, I mean, tax thing involved. Tax, there will not be any tax aspect.
Okay.
So that again, like, I mean, as it is kind of individual only.
So,
So
are you saying that I won't be paying tax?
I mean, you will be paying
Okay.
tax, but it will not be like sales tax. You will probably pay income tax.
Okay.
As we are outside, like we are not, I mean, we are non-resident, business,
Right.
person, right? We are not, resident in US.
Okay.
So our, I mean, tax law would be little different than the resident, US resident, seller.
Okay.
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 In our case, like, up to a certain limit, there would not be a tax limit. We will not be in that slab.
Okay.
But when you get into that slab, then you will get into those, tax thing. But
Okay.
as long as you are within that, you,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from our Indian government perspective, you are not selling the product in India.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
selling the product in US. So, and you are buying it from a different country.
Right.
And what you have to do, like, you have to, uh, file your income tax, like by showing your expense and, profit. You have
Okay.
to file income tax. That's something you'll have to do it
In India itself.
in India itself. Yeah.
Okay. Even though I'm not selling in India, I will have to pay income tax here, is what you're saying.
Yes, because you are making money, right? That's something it considered to be as an income.
Right.
So that
Right.
income is your profit.
Okay.
Okay. The
Okay.
profit,
And at what rate am I taxed?
whichever the slab income tax slabs are there, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
whichever the slab will fall, will you will fall into, then on
Okay.
that rate you will be paying
All
out,
right.
right?
As a business, basically, I'll be taxed as a business.
No, not as a business, as an individual. So you'll
Oh, I
be
will be taxed like a normal person working for a company like that.
yes, yes, normal person working
Oh,
for a company.
okay,
It will be
okay,
like that. So if you are doing as individual,
okay,
if you are doing as business, which you have done the setup in India, then the
okay.
tax laws will be applicable
I
as
see.
per the business.
Okay, so basically, if I'm selling in the US, no matter if it's sole proprietorship or partnership or LLC or anything else, I
Hmm.
will be paying tax, income tax in India as an individual, basically.
So if you are doing LLC and all, that's
Hmm.
basically, yeah, that's correct. So you will be paying individual as a, I mean,
Income tax,
income tax.
right? Okay,
Okay.
okay. So
So and virtually no formalities to be observed except the basic bookkeeping. So it's basically means that there will not be formalities, right?
right.
Which used to be,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, followed.
Right.
uh, And so these are points like what is there. So I means I
Yeah,
don't have to go on
it's
detail of every point here,
yeah,
but
it's
this is basically the
self-explanatory.
hmm?
Yeah, it is self-explanatory anyway. So
Yeah, it is self-explanatory all these points, but
yeah.
yeah. So but what the disadvantage of being a sole proprietor, like in any, I mean, most kind of scenario, if there is something, I mean, there is when I say something, if any customer
Okay,
uh, file a lawsuit against your product, right?
right, right.
So then what may happen, like if the product, like the lawsuit, what they filed, they claimed something that they, I mean, they, let's say if it is a product, something related to health, right? So
Okay,
if the product have done some kind of a bad impact on the body or something that it has done, right?
okay,
So they file a lawsuit against you, against the sole
right.
proprietor. Then
Okay.
the problem would be like if they, I mean, they wins that lawsuit and the
Mm-hmm.
court says that you have to pay certain amount or whatever, right? Then
Right.
or I mean, even if you will not be able to pay, all your individual asset will be on stake.
Okay.
Got my point, right?
But
So you have
when you say individual asset, do you mean uh,
your
specifically
house,
Amazon
your
inventory?
sorry.
My house and all. But see, I am sitting in India, right? So how will
So you,
they,
though you are in India, so we have the means between two countries we have the legal things again, right?
I see. Okay.
Right. So those things are there. So this still, if you are selling a product on US marketplace and
I
the
see.
product means gives some harm to somebody, then there
Okay.
are chances. But
I see.
it is rare, but it
Mm.
could happen. So that's why, like, you have means that disadvantage is there with sole proprietor. So your asset will be on stake, and
Okay.
people like they can take your individual asset. It can be your house or it can be anything, right?
Right.
You are not different from your business, so you are the same. That's why your asset is a business asset itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Understood. Yeah.
yeah. And the next type is partnership,
Mm-hmm.
and for this type of company, when it has to be formed, there are, I mean, some minimum requirement. So which is nothing but like there are two persons are the mandatory to be
Right.
uh, I mean, to be the director of or the partner of the
Okay.
company, and so that it can be formed as a partnership
Okay.
firm, right, or company.
Right.
So these again features are which I have pointed out, which is relatively inexpensive to form.
Mm-hmm.
Each partner has joint and similar liability to to the partnership,
Okay.
and taxation is a bit complex, but
Okay.
partnership itself is more than.
I see.
Okay.
So here also
So
we'll be paying individual taxes, income tax in India.
here also, yeah, here also,
Hmm.
this also is similar to sole proprietor. Only difference is that two people are combined and made this
Right.
partnership. But
Okay.
as far as the legal thing is concerned, I mean, from the taxation perspective, it could be little of like little bit of these things. This can be more clarified by CA people. This is
Okay.
what I have the information,
I
but
see.
I
Okay.
mean, the CA people are the right people who gives more idea, like how it can be, what kind of what can be done, and all those things.
Right.
But here, what I'm talking about is the basic thing about
Got it.
this all type of companies, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And I think I should go slide. Yeah. So there are three types of partnership, which is I mean general partnership, limited partnership, and joint partnership. So depending on this partnership, the laws and all those things would be
Okay.
different.
Okay.
So in US, these are the three type of partnership.
Right. Right.
Unlimited liability company, so which is nothing but LLC.
Mm.
So this is basically, I mean, if I have to say, as in India, if I have to compare the type of company, it is
Mhm.
something private limited company. I can say that. Hmm.
Okay.
So it is a hybrid of corporation and a
Mhm.
partnership. So
Okay.
it's not a corporation is kind of like limited company, limited, right?
Right.
So so within an ability to limit the personal liability and partnership with an ability to assess the profit and loss to individual.
Okay.
So this is again like minimum two-person have to be partnered for to make. I think no, in US it is not the same. LLC can be formed with one person as well.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, LLC can be formed by one person. It is not mandatory that two-person has to be partnered to make an LLC,
Okay.
right? So it is one person can do. Yeah,
Okay. Right.
and the I mean advantage of this that like basically when that situation what I explained in case of like sole proprietor when there is lawsuit and all those things,
Mm.
here the advantage is that your company and you are two different entity. So your
Okay.
company asset and products and all are different, so you do not have any hold on that, like you though you have a stake on the company,
Right.
but you do not I mean liable to pay anything as such, like if it has a debt or it went
Okay.
onto debt and something like that, you do
Okay.
not have liability. So
Right.
the liability comes totally on the company.
Okay.
Okay. And if any kind of legal lawsuit or anything you I mean somebody filed and somebody claimed, then
Mm.
if you have to refund or repay, then
Right.
you do not have to pay from anything from your asset, and your asset is not on the stake. So the
Okay.
limited liability company is different. I mean it is a different entity, so the company is liable to pay that. That's basically I mean the advantage what you will get in case of LLC.
Okay.
And business corporation is legal entity established by individual under the law. Like this is basically the detail what I mean I've noted down, but this is basically again something similar to our private limited company in India. So which is
Mhm.
nothing but like a company
Okay.
which has proper legal corporate, like which is kind of I mean aligned with the government legal regulations, right?
Okay.
So corporate law regulations. Same thing like in US also. It is like everything like LLC also is regulated, and this also is regulated. But this has more tax. I mean law, corporate law,
Okay.
uh, I mean regulations implied on this.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are there any advantages to a business corporation over an LLC?
LLC, like if you are not big, if you are small,
Okay.
then LLC is suitable. Corporation is not suitable because corporation will have huge tax. These things every means I mean lot of legal things would be involved. So you'll
Okay.
have to pay tax. Like you'll have to hire a there it is called as accountant who will do your bookkeeping, who will file your return, who will do lot of things will be involved there.
Also, I
Okay.
think minimum number of employees or something also is there. I guess
Uh,
employees or
Number
something.
of employee, yes, yes. I mean, there would be something like which you'll have to,
Yeah.
if you have to convert your LL to corporation, or you are, I mean, making it as corporation.
Right.
I don't think I mean, there will be a number of employee as a mandatory thing. I'm not sure,
Hmm.
but I don't think corporation would.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really know.
Okay.
So, but corporation is a person in the eye of law.
Okay.
A corporation is a person, and corporation function the same manner as the person and has the same rights and responsibility as a person. Corporation may take contract, assume liabilities, sue and be sued. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So no, there is no point as such about the number of employees.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. That's okay. No problem.
Yeah. So coming to India, like types of business in India,
Right.
it is the same. Like I mean, the four type, pretty much similar kind of like thing would be there, which is I mean, uh, if I have to compare with US business and India business, it can be aligned. Like
Okay.
here also we have the sole proprietorship,
Okay.
which and partnership, private limited and public limited company.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think.
No problem.
Yeah, so yeah, basically in sole proprietor is the same thing. Like I mean, it is the sole proprietor. How it is there in US, what I explained, and the
Okay.
partnership is also the same. Like how it is in US and how it. I mean, two persons are mandatory for
Hmm.
partnership to form
Okay.
in India. Yeah,
Okay.
and in private limited company in India, it is the same. Like two persons are mandatory. If you have to form a private limited company, then two
Okay.
people are mandatory. Two people have to be director of the company,
Okay.
and that's how the company can be formed with individual stake. They'll have to declare
Okay.
with the capital money of on the company. They can form the company.
So this is different from the LLC, basically, where even an individual can.
Little different than a US LLC,
Okay.
but as far as the legal, I mean the tax law and the legal law, it will be pretty much kind of like similar.
Oh.
Okay, and the
Okay.
public limited company is more of like corp, what we saw there in this one. In India, public limited companies are much bigger companies, right? They're the company. Why they called as public? Because public has the
As
investment on that company, and basically, I mean, if you know that, right? Like in India, we have the company when it goes to public,
yeah. Yeah.
they list their company in, I mean, under SEBI,
Yeah.
and they become public company where public can invest money on.
Right.
So that's the type, but public limited company will have a lot of legal things, a lot of legal applications, and which they'll have to follow through. Private limited also in similar way, all legal laws will be applicable to private law. So every annual they'll have to file show like ROC, I mean, income tax, lot of things should be there in
Right.
private limited company as well.
Okay.
So these are the type of company what can be formed.
Okay.
Now it is up to us that how you want to form our company. We understand what are the implications of, I mean, different types of companies if you are want to,
Hmm.
and where we want to form. Like you can start with in individual, or you can start with business in India or US.
Okay.
So if you want to register an LLC also in US, you can do so. It's
Okay.
not that you cannot.
What would you suggest to register as?
I mean, if you are doing in India
Okay.
as a business, then what will have to do? Like you can do as a sole proprietor again, but when
Okay.
you do sole proprietor anything, the GST has to be. I mean, you have to take a GST. So
Oh, I see.
that yeah, GST has to. The registration has to happen. So when
Oh,
you take the GST, then what will happen? You will have to file the return every month.
I
Okay, so
see.
monthly return has to be filed. You can't just leave without filing, because if you do so, then there will be huge pending. Sorry, huge fine
Okay.
for not filing your
Okay.
return on time. So it is always like, I mean, if you're going through the Indian business registration, GST is going to be mandatory. And if you're taking GST, then
Okay.
it has to be filed. As you are not doing business in India,
Right.
so I don't think it is advisable to do anything like you to set up a business in India, business, right?
Right.
So you can set up something in US itself,
Okay.
business itself.
Okay.
Either you can set up LLC there,
LLC is what
but
you would suggest. Okay.
yeah, LLC you can set up, but I mean that has again like you'll have to invest definitely some money there. So
Okay.
if you say that no, I do not want to do at this point, probably I'll just start with individual.
Okay.
You can start with individual. That's not a problem. Like you can start with individual, start as individual and start the business,
Hmm.
and later on decide on like if you want to move to LLC. That's something also possible.
Okay. So what is the investment for sole proprietorship and what is it for LC in US?
LLC would be a little higher. Like I mean, you will have to use uh, some agency who will
Okay.
do uh, means work for you. They'll
Okay.
register your sole proprietor or the LLC, whatever you want
Okay.
them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But there will be charges definitely. I do not know exactly how much is the charge at this point, but
Okay.
there are some charges which you'll have to, and
Okay.
there are some things which you'll have to also from IRS uh, guidelines. As
Okay.
like in our case in India, in India we have our sales tax department and we have income tax department, right? They
Right.
are in US the governing body for I mean tax. IRS is the
Right.
governing body. So
Right.
under their regulation, whatever is supposed to be done and followed has to be done properly.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
sole proprietorship LLC. Do I have to register as a business to start selling on Amazon?
No, you do not have. You do not have to. That's what I'm saying. Like you, I mean, if you recall, on the first itself, I've said selling as individual. So you can
Individual.
sell
Right.
as
So
individual
I can always be an individual without setting up
without
a.
anything. Yeah, without anything, without becoming a business, you can sell as
Okay.
individual with your name itself.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So what do you, I mean? So I would, my feeling is to start off selling as an individual, initially at least,
right.
to at least get to know how things work and get the feel of
Yes,
everything.
yes. That's how you can start off.
Right.
I would maybe I would not suggest to start with LLC
Okay.
at this point. You can
Right.
start with individual, no problem,
Okay.
because like you are, I mean, just starting off, right?
Right.
So, but there are like as I said, right? Each has its own pros and cons.
Right.
The cons are like if in any situation there is such bad thing,
Hmm.
then there are definitely, I mean, that's going to be really bad. So you have to be careful again
Okay.
what
Okay.
we are selling, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. Now, okay. So now, I mean, let's talk about like what you need to know in
All right.
terms of like within Amazon, what you need to know. Like there are certain names which are there inside.
Right.
So you have to be clear what is those names, right?
Right. Right.
So one is called store name.
Okay.
So if you must have seen when you search through on Amazon product page,
Mm.
you will see something a page something like this.
Okay.
Okay, and if you see it here carefully, you see that sold by,
Right.
and there is a name here.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and that name is nothing but the store name,
The seller, basically.
seller name. Yes, exactly. That's a seller name or the store name you can say, or
Right.
the seller name.
Right.
What they have kept. Seller name is not, when I say seller name, it is not the name of the business or name of the individual.
Okay.
Yeah. It is the
Okay.
name what has been kept I can keep this name anything. If my name is like, I mean, your name is whatever name, right? So,
Yeah.
and my name is my name, but that name is not displayed here.
Okay.
Okay.
I
So,
understand. I understand when you say seller name, it's not the name of the individual, but the name of
correct.
his entity on Amazon, basically. Is how he has registered on Amazon.
Mm, I would not say that. No, it's not that. Actually, it is a logical name. It can be changed at any point in time. So if somebody has registered with that
Okay.
name, it should not be like allowed to change, right? But it
Right.
can be changed.
Oh, it
Okay,
can be changed, is it?
code name can be changed. The only thing is that it should be available for us to take
Okay,
that.
got it.
Yeah. So
Okay,
so that name is, I mean, it's a logical name. Okay.
right. But if that can be changed, but I don't know if people actually change it because there is
No,
a lot of
they people would not
yeah,
people will not change,
right.
but it can be changed. I mean,
Oh,
people
I
will
see.
not change because for the reason that they have,
They want to
I mean,
identify themselves as
they want to identify their name
right,
as and seller
right,
to their customers, right? If they
right,
keep on changing, then they probably the name what they had earlier, they lost that,
right. Okay,
and there is probably they will have to take, I mean, lot of effort to let their customer know that their new store
exactly,
name is this, right?
exactly.
So that will, I mean, that effort has to be again put on, and that
Right,
may require additional work and money as well, right?
right, right.
Time and money, all those things. So,
Okay.
so it's not advisable to change, but it can be changed.
I
That's a
see.
logical name,
Got it.
more of, right?
Okay.
And the other name is the brand name. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So when you see the product, like you must have seen on the product page,
Yeah.
somewhere like on the bottom, just below the title,
Right.
it will say the by a name.
Yes.
So
Right.
by name is nothing but the brand name. So
Right.
brand name plays a bigger role here,
Mm-hmm.
and brand name is something which will identify your product. Okay, I mean that's something. Let's say if I want to sell a product like this, in this case, like it's an office headset,
Right.
and I want to sell this product, and I want to create my own private label product,
Right.
and then I'll brand my product with some name,
Right.
and that name is going to be identified
Okay.
by the customers, right?
Okay.
And that is the name is nothing but brand name, and I'll do branding
Okay.
that name by putting a logo on. If you see here, there is a logo on here on the
Right.
product. You
Right.
see my mouse where
Right.
I'm taking it, right? Yeah. So
Correct. Correct.
that's basically the same name what it is shown here.
Okay.
So that's how they have
Yeah.
created their brand. So
Right.
this is the brand name.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell me one thing, Mrityunjay. Once I create my Seller Central account,
Hmm.
uh, I mean, okay. Say for example, I'm a private label. I have my own brand,
Hmm.
and also I am also selling retail arbitrage.
Okay.
Then do I still have control over the brand name when I'm selling retail arbitrage, or only when I'm selling my own private label?
No, you have control over your private level products, not the
Okay.
retail products, because retail
Right.
products might be something you are selling
Okay.
other brands, right? It is not the
Right.
brand which you created and you are owning that brand.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
it is not
Okay.
created by you.
Yeah.
It might
Okay.
have been created by somebody else on past,
Okay.
and that is there in the catalog, and you are just another seller there on that
Okay.
listing, and you are the reseller of that product, right?
Okay. Right. So to register my brand, basically, I will have to go through one process of brand registry and all those things through my Seller Central account, is what you're saying, for a private label.
Yeah, man. See, brand registry is not something mandatory.
Okay.
Okay, it is
Okay.
not mandatory that every seller has to go for the brand registry.
Not every seller, but if I'm selling a private label, would I have to
Still,
do?
still, no. It is not mandatory for a private label seller,
Okay.
but it is mandatory if, like, in the sense, if you want to protect yourself
I see.
from hijackers.
Okay.
So I'll talk about those things like what is hijackers and what is that.
Got it.
So I mean, legally you have to protect yourself, right? Like you have
Right.
copyright, you have trademark, you have patent.
Mm-hmm.
These all things are there.
Okay.
So how you can protect your brand.
Okay.
So
Okay.
business is all about the competition, right? And there would be, copycat or hijackers and other
Right.
people who wants to take benefit of
Right.
the product which is selling good and which has good market, right?
Right.
If they get that, chunk, probably let's say if you are making huge sales and revenue, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and they see that you are making huge revenue,
Right.
and they probably would be, attracted and
Mm-hmm.
try to take some of your revenue and make that money, right? So
So
for that,
how do they do it? They buy my products and they retail it, or how do they do that?
no, they do not have to buy your product.
Okay.
So they can get it from somewhere.
All right.
Might be the exact product, similar product,
Okay.
and they can sell it to the customer if it is matching to your product, and they can probably copy your product, right?
Okay.
They
Okay.
can copy and send, once get that product manufactured as just like exactly to your product, how you have designed, how you have put, where you have put your brand logo, how you
So
have
the
made
same,
your packaging, everything. If they copy it and they make it and they
okay.
sell it.
So the same logo you're saying, the same brand name, same
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, same logo. You do not have, you are not trademarked, right?
Right.
So what will happen? You do not have any proof that you are the brand owner, as you do
Okay.
not have any trademark.
Okay.
So
Okay.
trademark gives that legal authority that you are the brand owner for this particular
Got
brand.
it. Got it.
But when you are not trademarked, you are not the legally not the brand owner. I can go, let's say you are selling some product. If I have to sell same product with the
Mm-hmm.
exact replica of it, with the
Okay.
same design, same logo, same everything, I can do that,
Okay.
right?
Okay. So, but
But
when you said that you can't, I mean, it's not necessary to do a band
no,
registry.
no, yeah, it is not mandatory. I'm not saying necessary. It is not mandatory.
Oh, okay, okay, not mandatory.
Amazon doesn't say that you have to go for trademark registration and
I
brand
see,
registry.
I see, I see.
That is not the enforcement from Amazon,
Okay,
but it is from our side. It becomes a necessity to protect ourselves,
okay. So,
to protect our brand.
okay. So if Amazon, so if you don't register yourself as a brand, say for example,
Uh,
and you have your brand products listed online,
right.
then how does Amazon identify that you are the only, you are the brand owner of this brand without being registered as a brand? So do
No,
they?
without being registered as a brand, there is no way Amazon will not take any action against the other
I see.
seller. If
I
you
see.
file a complaint or anything, Amazon is not going to take any action against them.
Okay. But
Okay.
if you have already registered, so you have so below the product title is buy Empower, right? So
Hmm.
now that brand name belongs to you. You are using that brand name. So you're saying Amazon will allow someone else also to use that brand name if you are not.
Yes, 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 yes. Because
Oh,
they do not have any mechanism to prove
right, right,
who is the right owner,
right, right,
right? So they will not go. So you have to sort out means uh, among among you and the other seller. You
right.
have to sort out, and you have to basically fight among yourself and
Mm-hmm.
win to win that. But when it goes to that situation, it becomes difficult because
Right, right.
Amazon will not take any action. Amazon says that if you have proof, submit us the your
Mm-hmm.
trademark details or whatever. But
Okay,
if that is something is not there, you would lose out. You will not be
right.
able to,
Okay.
take that other seller out from the listing.
Right.
But
So
there are ways. There are ways which can be done
okay.
by scaring them,
Okay.
scaring the sellers who is doing that. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
that can be done. So that's something I'll talk about all those things in advance
Okay. Okay.
level.
Okay. Sure. Mm.
At this point, it is you have to just understand what is brand name, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Okay, the company name. Company name is something is the legal name which you will put on while doing your registration. can be your company name or it can be the individual name. That's the
Okay.
legal name.
Okay.
But that is nowhere seen to the customers. So that's not seen outside. It is
Oh, I
just
see.
within the Amazon, and
Oh,
Amazon knows that the legal information is something with Amazon, so they
okay.
know that,
Okay.
right?
So if I'm registering as an individual, I can just put my own name as it
Yeah,
as the.
this legal business name is your individual name,
Okay. Okay.
and your place of establishment, your address, what you have
Okay.
submitted. That's
Okay.
what you will have to
Okay.
specify.
Okay.
Okay, so that's company name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the importance of the name? So I explained all this. I mean, but
Right. Right.
still, again, there the store name
Mm-hmm.
is basically a unique logical name created for seller store on Amazon as store name.
Okay.
Okay. Only one store name can be assigned to each seller account.
Right.
So there cannot be multiple store name for one account. Okay,
Okay.
and there will be storefront for each store name. Okay, and all
Got it.
products will be sold
Mm.
by
Right.
the store name.
Right.
Okay,
Got it.
brand name. The seller can sell multiple brands product under his store.
Okay.
They can, and I can sell many brand. Like I can create for my kitchen. I can create kitchen products. I can create something related. The name something related should can relate to kitchen.
Right.
And if you want to sell some office products, I can name brand something related to office. Right.
Okay.
I can get multiple brands, and I can
Okay.
I mean sell products under multiple brand on single store. Okay.
Okay.
Brand names can be trademarked. Okay. So
Okay.
as I said, like it can be trademark. So that's what I said can be, but it is not mandatory that it has to be trademark. It
Right.
can be trade. Seller can get protection of each brand with brand registry. So seller can get protection. So if they do brand with Amazon, then they can get the protection.
Right.
Store name and brand name can be different name or same name. It's
Okay.
up to us that how we want to do it. But usually store name are different than the brand name.
Right.
Okay, company name. Company name are the legal name related to government law. The
Okay.
company name will have significance on Amazon for the tax purpose.
I
Okay,
see.
this is basically for the tax purpose. So if you are, I mean, registered as a company in US and you have a company in US itself, so from a tax purpose, that will be that will have significance on that.
Right.
So that's the difference, like between these all three types of names: store name, brand name, and the company name.
Right.
Okay, I think trademark and patent maybe. Okay, how do you? So before I go to that, like, okay, information. So what information would be required for registration? This is a simple thing. There is nothing actually. So I do not have to
Right.
really go in
Mm.
detail. But you will start off with the email ID. So
Okay.
it might be your email ID or your company email ID.
Okay.
Password. So the I mean the screen will be something I can show up. I can show up to you.
Okay.
Uh, just go in here. So seller this one. I can say register now. Yeah.
Okay.
This is customer. Register now. Here. Then mhm, start selling. What is this again and again? It's asking. Okay. Create your account. Right.
Right.
So create when you say create account, your name, your email ID,
Okay.
and the password. You just fill this basic information. It will
Okay.
take you to the next step. On the
Okay.
next step, it will ask your details.
Right.
Okay. So I don't think I have to go through this procedure,
Right.
but
Right.
something. would
Right.
ask about your, if you are registering as individual, personal detail. If you are registering as business, your business details, right? That's what
Okay.
it will ask
And which
about.
step it asks you whether you want to register as an individual or for individual account or professional account?
Uh, there will not be, I think, such thing. So it will be default. It is professional account. Okay.
I see.
So it will not be default. Would be professional account. When
Okay.
you first register, it is the professional account, and they'll charge your card.
Oh, I
Uh,
see.
$10 definitely they'll charge.
Oh,
What
okay.
if you do not want to be as a professional? You do
Okay.
not have require to be, because you're. I mean, the time you when you register, you might not have your product on your hand, and
Right.
it might not be in a B as well. So
Hmm.
that means you may have some like 1 or 2 months of time to get your product manufactured and shipped to Amazon
Hmm.
warehouse.
Hmm.
So that 2 months fees you do not have to pay. So you can say them to degrade your account, I mean
Okay.
downgrade your account, and
Okay.
refund your money.
Oh, okay. So it's just
Yes.
a formality basically.
It is just the formality that they'll you means make your account as a professional account as a default.
Okay.
But if you do not want, then you can ask them to get your money
Okay.
and
So they will
downgrade that to individual account till the time when, I mean, when you do not have your product in a warehouse, right?
okay. And after that again I upgrade it or do I continue
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it?
you can upgrade. Yeah, you can upgrade. So when you upgrade, then immediately that
Hmm.
$39 will be again charged.
Okay. So what you're saying basically is to use a professional account rather than individual account.
Yes, professional account has to be used because there are the feature like the, I mean, the core feature which should be missing
Hmm.
in individual account is the campaign.
Right.
Amazon PPC campaign, which will not be available for
Right.
individual account.
Right.
And if that is not available, then I mean,
Right.
you will lose out lot. Like you will not be able to sell. Sale is something would not be that much,
Right.
because I mean, though you will organically you will have to work a lot
Hmm.
to I mean to optimize your listing and to
Yeah.
rank
So that was
better
one
and better.
question I had actually. So because your product will be new, right? My product will be
Mm,
new. It will
mm.
not have a very. It will not have many reviews or star ratings and things like
Exactly, exactly,
that. Right.
exactly.
So would
Yes.
it make sense to advertise it initially? Because as far as I know, the internal algorithms that Amazon uses for their to show your ads, basically,
Mm, mm,
what they do is there is something where they filter out, certain products which do not have too many star ratings or are very new, right, on
mm,
the
mm,
platform,
mm, mm.
which do not have any reviews, these kind of things. So
No, I don't think there is such thing. I mean,
okay.
there is algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Though there might be a preference compared to the product which has this one, but
Right.
there is no such thing that it will be not shown at all,
Okay.
because it will be shown, but
Okay.
it will be just that like your clicks would be expensive. In the
Okay.
sense, why it will become expensive? Maybe like on one click, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, 10 clicks on 10 clicks or maybe more
Mm.
number of clicks on 20 clicks or something, you will get one conversion. So that is how it is going to be expensive, because you do not have any social proof yet
Mm-hmm.
as your reviews,
Okay.
right? That's one thing which is missing still on your
Okay.
product.
Mm.
That is why your campaign cost might be higher initially.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that Amazon will not show your product to customers when there is no reviews on your
Right,
product.
right.
No,
So,
it will be
what
shown.
I yeah, it will be shown. But what I have come to know that is that it will be shown. See, so you want to be showing your products mostly during the daytime, the peak hours, say from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock in the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the ad engine is running throughout 24 hours, right? It
Correct.
never
24
stops,
hours. Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what it does is it will when your products are relatively new with
Mm-hmm.
lesser number of reviews and star ratings and all,
Mm-hmm.
it will your ad will show, but it will be pushed down the funnel. It will be pushed towards the end. Now it might show probably at 12 in the night at some point of time. or at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. That kind of this thing. So
Might
that is
be,
what
yeah.
I heard.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, you might have heard that as you were inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it might be true also to an extent. But
Right.
what my experience is that, I mean,
Yeah. So what was your experience like?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Without the reviews, also a product can be sold through campaign,
Okay.
but it will be just that it will be expensive,
Nice.
as I said. So,
Okay.
because like there will be a lot of clicks coming, but that clicks may not convert.
Okay. On
And
an average
each
for a
click
new product, what would be your ACOS?
was that.
Uh, uh, on an average for a new product,
Uh-huh.
what would be your ACOS?
It may go like, I mean, 80, 90, 100.
I
So
see.
I mean, yeah, a new product would go higher.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
yeah,
average
sometime it may go. Hmm,
and number of sales, how would you like? How would they be like? Average sales that you do in your first product in general.
Sales. No, I don't have general statistics on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there will be sales,
Okay.
but there will be less compared to like when I mean when you have reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay. So on a daily basis, you will have sales. Is what you're saying.
yes, yes. Daily basis, you'll definitely have sales if you are combining everything.
Okay.
I mean,
I am talking
digital
about through
marketing.
purely through advertising.
If you are like through advertising, if you are trying to do sales, yes, there will
Mhm.
be sales definitely.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, the expense would be higher.
Okay.
But I mean, the strategy would not be just to focus on only one part. At the beginning, yes, like we'll focus on probably on the launch activity, doing it through
Right.
some external traffic or through Facebook marketing or through PPC campaign.
Okay.
This strategies would be there.
Okay.
But yes, we may have to combine multiple things at some point and get a lot of traffic.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead
Yeah.
and this.
You were
Yeah.
showing
So
the registration. Huh.
yeah. So the registration and document requirement would be, as I've said, like your personal or company identification proof, address
Mm.
proof, mobile number,
Okay.
and PAN number,
Okay.
uh, and your saving account number or company current account number. That's something the requirement would be. So you'll have to
And all these
submit it.
individual names and address proof, PAN card, and all they require soft copies of these. Is it uploaded onto?
Soft copy. Yes, yes, yes. You have to upload the soft copies of it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes,
Fine.
yes.
Okay. And so yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Continue. I'll ask you a little later. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you do this registration process, there would be a tax information which you'll have to
Right.
answer it there
Right.
or during your registration process.
Right.
So you need to answer that tax questions.
Okay.
With that, like if you have to be exempted or something, that is something will be recorded there.
Okay. Okay. So now that we are done with this, I just wanted to know. Mrityunjay, now I have my two brothers, as I was telling you last time, right, in the US.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Right. So I am here in India. They are in the US.
Mm.
So how would you suggest us to go about it? Like, should I have one of them register in their name? They're basically giving their US account, bank account details and credit card details, or would you suggest that I should do that? Give my account details here and my credit card details. What would be a better
I mean,
choice
I
for all
see.
this?
I both would be a good choice. I mean, I don't think starting from there is bad choice or starting from here is bad choice,
Okay.
or starting from there is good choice and here is good choice. I,
Right.
I, I would say both are good choice. Like it's up to you which one you want to decide on. I
Hmm.
think both can be a good. So if you want to start yourself, it can be good. If you want to start with brother's name, they are in US, it can be
Hmm.
good as well, as
But
long as you
there
both
also
have
he will
account.
be paying tax, but
Yes, they are like if you start with start in US, it
hmm.
has to be like I mean something they have to fall under in US tax laws, and
Right.
they'll have to do that.
Okay. So they
Yeah.
will also pay like how I would pay income tax as an individual here.
No,
They
I
will
think there will be different. There it will be different.
I
If they
see.
are in resident, right, there will be different.
Okay. Okay. So basically, they will be taxed as a business. You're saying? Or
Yes, their IRS will come into this one. They will have to
right.
either form proprietorship or LLC or something.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. So there's no concept of individual is what you're trying to say, in terms of
I
uh,
don't think because I'm
tax.
not in US, so uh, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that would be possible. But
Okay.
I think I'll come to know. I'm doing for one of my friend who is in US,
I see.
and
Okay.
he would be starting of his business on Amazon,
Okay.
and I'll come to know that actually. That's something I do not know yet because I'm not gone. Means, you know, right? I'm in
Right.
India, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have to know that what is the requirement there.
Right.
That's what I do not know.
Okay.
But yeah, if
Okay.
somebody has to start there in US itself,
Hmm.
my understanding it has to be sole proprietor or LLC or partnership like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have to get an EIN and all those things.
And right.
Okay?
Right. Right.
There is called EIN from Employee Identification Number from IRS,
Right. Right.
and EIN, and once you get that EIN, you are on the tax
Mm-hmm.
I mean, implications and all. Okay?
Right. Right. So basically, as far as I can understand from what you have told me, it will be quite a lot of investment will be required actually if you start it in the US as a business in the US.
Yes, yes. If you start in US, lot of investment because US usually for forming a company is costly than
Right.
in India. If you're,
Right. Right.
I mean, in India, it can be very cheaply a company can like partnership
I
can
mean,
be
I need
formed.
not even form a company also. I can just sell as
Yeah,
a
you can. I mean, you need not even form a company here in India.
right.
But there in US, it will be costly.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay, so let's coming into the next thing, which is trademark, importance of trademark and patent. So, what is a trademark? Trademark is generally refers to a brand or logo. I mean, your brand is trademarked,
Okay.
and you get that protection. I mean, you get that rights on that product, okay, or the service. Can be product or service.
Mm.
Okay, so you get that right on that,
Okay.
and that's basically trademark. Right? That's what I mean. I said
Right.
there are different types of trademark. One is like word mark
All
and
right.
design. Design mark is nothing but the logos,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So word mark is what? Like word mark such name. Name is Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
Coca-Cola is the name itself. It's a brand name and it is trademark name, and that is something is a name and which is word mark. Okay.
Okay.
HP, Canon, Nike, Adidas. These are the big brand and these are the word mark.
Right.
And the same time they have the design mark which is their logo.
Right.
You see Coca-Cola, HP, I mean Canon, Nike, Adidas. These are the logos and they are design mark.
Okay.
And they means so nobody else can put this logo or the name
Okay.
anywhere else and try to sell the product or service. That's something like if this brand knows, I mean this brand come to know that okay, this
Hmm.
when some other company or somebody else is trying to misutilize their brand,
Right.
they can go against them and
Right.
file a lawsuit, whatever, like, right?
Okay.
That's
Right.
something we can do it.
Right. So this I have to
That's
do in, if I'm selling from India, sitting in India and selling in US. So I have to do this in US, right?
you can do it in any place. Like you can do it in India, you can do it in US.
I see.
Uh, so if you are doing in India, only the protection something is the question mark.
Okay.
But as far as the brand registry is concerned, it can be done. So
I see.
Amazon accept your trademark to
Okay.
register your brand
Okay.
in their brand registry program.
Right.
But the protection is the question mark. You can still fight with, I mean, against the seller who is listing
Okay.
the product, and you can still complain to Amazon and saying that this our
Right.
trademark and but it is
But you're
up
saying
to
that Amazon will not give much importance to
may not
Indian
may not. It,
products,
I mean, they may not. They
right?
probably would not give if the trademark is on not on that country.
Right.
So I mean, it is in question mark.
Okay.
But still,
Okay.
it is like, I mean, I would say you can start with India, as it
Mhm.
is very cheap in India. It is
Okay.
just something around 6,000, 6,500. Within that, you will get trademark. But
I see.
whereas in US, it would be
Okay.
around like probably $600.
Oh, six hundred
Yeah,
dollars.
yes, yes,
Oh
that much.
my God. Okay. Mm.
Okay, so benefits of trademark. It protects the goods or service from infringement. So you
Okay.
basically like when a seller gets that trademark for his goods or service,
Mm.
he gets the protection for that brand.
Okay.
So nobody else, no other seller can infringe their brand, right?
Right. Right.
And allows the companies or individual to indicate the source of their goods and service. So basically, it says that you are the owner and you have the rights of that, and gives the exclusive rights to use that mark. So you can use the mark in your way, like wherever you want to use, you can use that mark has been given exclusively to you, and you can only use that
Mm.
mark.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. However, trademark cannot prevent another person or company from making or selling the same goods or the service under a clearly different mark.
Okay.
Got the idea? Like, got the point? What
Right.
I mean,
I
somebody
got it.
else can
I
also
got
serve.
it. Yeah. So I have a question around this actually. So suppose I have some sort of a design that I have which is very unique, and I do
Mhm,
not want other companies or any other brand to copy it. Then
mhm.
how do I trademark this design, like a patent it?
Trademark, yes, exactly. Trademark is not protection for your design or anything. Trademark is protection for your brand.
Brand? Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and when it comes to that design, there it the patent comes into the play.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Understood.
so patent will be like, I mean, there are patent again. I'll come into that.
Okay.
So trademark application can be filed like in USPTO if
Okay.
it is in US. If you are doing for US,
Okay.
it can be USPTO is US United States of Patent and Trademark Office
Okay.
.gov. That's the
Okay.
basically website where you can file your trademark application. Okay,
Okay. So you said there are two types of trademark. Now, one is the name trademark.
word mark and design mark.
Yeah. So do I have to register? I mean, apply separately for both of these, or I can apply
In
both?
India, it is like, I mean, default. Your design is
Okay.
included,
Okay. Okay.
but in US it has to be separate.
Okay. So you're saying individually 600 $600 I have to pay, or totally $600?
Uh, I think totally 600. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, coming to patent, actually, I think that's something is missing here.
Yeah.
A patent is basically as you said, right? If you have design
Right.
and you created your own design
Right.
and you want to protect that design,
Right.
okay, that's where you'll again, I mean, file
Okay.
the your patent application there in
Okay.
uspto.gov.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
and I mean, patent application is something. It takes a lot of time. It is not that they'll approve any design, right?
Right. Right. Right.
They'll
Out of
see
book also.
you are actually, yes, out of the box, and you have done really different design. Patents are easy to
Okay.
file it.
Okay.
There are two types of patent. One is design, and the other one is utility patent.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
what is design patent? Design patent is the I mean, is a product or service you made different to an
Mm-hmm.
existing product. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Add some design, different design.
Right.
That's basically the design patent.
Right.
I can give you the example of like Apple. Apple has its own, I mean, the design,
Okay.
uh, which is, I mean, their mobile phone design.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically they have the design patent for that.
Okay.
So their design, nobody else can copy that.
I see.
Yeah? So that's a design patent. But when it comes to utility patent is basically a patent on functionality,
Okay.
right? If I say, let's say, if I say, I mean, what is like achieving something, like getting something by using the product.
Mm-hmm.
So that innovation,
I get
right?
it. I
That
got it. Yeah.
innovation is a utility patent.
Right.
So when it is utility, it is difficult to get utility patent. Usually, I mean, it has to be really different. I mean, something new. It can't
Okay.
be just the innovation which is already existing and you are just saying that this is a new innovation, right?
Right.
It is not. It will not be accepted by USPTO office or any patent office,
Okay.
be it in India or US or any country.
Okay.
It has to be really different and something new and unheard and unknown,
Okay.
and you invented that, right?
Right.
So that is something it's going to be like, and you are bringing some new functionality
Okay.
through which you are through that innovation you are achieving. So that's basically the utility patent, and usually the patent period would be around 20 years for
Right.
the innovator to have that patent rights for 20 years.
Okay.
After 20 years, it will be open for everybody. Like anybody can make that
Okay.
copy of the product.
Okay. You can't reapply at that point of time after 20
No,
years.
if I mean there are stages. I mean patent application will go through the different stages. I mean
Okay.
application filed, application pending, application expired, application
Mm.
like there are lot of things,
Okay.
and there are like scenarios where the patent means application applicator
Mm.
might not have paid the fees. He's supposed to pay. In that
Okay.
case, application also may. I mean they can make the application expired as well.
I see.
So there are different
Okay.
application stage.
Okay.
Okay,
I can
so
apply it in India as well, right? These for these
yeah, patent can be applied in anywhere.
anywhere, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and yeah, but patent takes a lot of time. Be it
Okay.
design or be it a utility patent, it will take
Mm.
a lot of time for the approval.
Okay. Okay.
And it definitely, I mean, from investment perspective, it is higher as well.
I see. Oh, I
Yeah.
see. How much is that approximately? Like.
Uh, I don't know exactly like how much, but it will
Right.
differ from country to country. So
Okay.
if you are in India, definitely it will be cheaper, but I don't know exactly how much it would be.
Okay.
But it is definitely costly. Like if I have to come to uspto.com,
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is for both trademarks and patents, right? This
yeah,
website.
this is for their government
Okay.
website for trademark and patent. You
Okay.
see patent and trademark.
Right. Right.
And I don't know if you can see the price somewhere. But yeah, I think there is one more session which I'll take on this, like how you can find the name, how you can. This all I have given the overview. What is patent? What is trademark? What is name? What is store name and all.
Right.
And the next session I'll say like how can you find a name? How can you like trademark a name?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and all those things.
All right.
Yeah. Um, I think yeah. So I'll keep that for the next session because it's
Sure. Sure.
already
It's already late.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
already late.
Yeah.
So I'll keep that for the next session, which would be like how you can find names
Right.
and ideas and all
Okay. Okay.
for your brand name, for your store.
Mm-hmm.
Store name is something you can keep it, in,
Right. Mm-hmm.
which is more of like suitable. But yeah, brand name is more important.
Right. Because see, actually, store name in India, a lot
Mm.
of sellers are identified by their store names. So they are very unique and big sellers in the sense like basically there is a brand or a recall basically from the customers for these particular sellers, so that is why
Because
yeah,
sellers might be resellers, right? So like I'll take the example of CloudTel,
right,
right?
right.
They are the resellers. They do not have their own brand. They are not the private label seller, right?
Mm, mm, mm,
So
mm.
they are the resellers. They sell help a lot of customers. lot of dead products.
Right.
So obviously there, I mean, when customer buys,
Hmm.
they see if it is from Cloudtail or what.
Okay.
That's a brand. That's a store name which is identified with that name.
Right.
Okay,
Hmm.
that's a big store name, right? But if
Right.
I mean, there are n number of small store names which are not like recognized by the customer. So
Hmm.
that's- when customer buys, customer sees the brand name. Usually
Right.
they know that they
Yes.
are buying
Yes.
from Amazon, right?
Right.
And they are
Right.
not least bothered about the store name who is selling the product. Okay,
Right. Right.
they know very well that if anything happens, Amazon is there to refund us or
Right.
and store name doesn't really matter. Yeah, brand name is something when the product is sold, they see the brand name. I mean, when it is, I mean, physically at their place, right? When they see the
Right.
product physically, right? They see that okay, this is the brand name, this is that, and store name probably would not be there on the product. That also not be recognized for later point to for them to again go back and check with the store name. Probably they'll check with the brand name only.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other question?
No. I think
All
we've answered
clear,
all
right?
the questions. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's have the next session. Okay, let me stop
Yeah.
this.